Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. In our last session, we had done up to the 46th shloka. In 46th shloka, Adi Shankaracharya says, Tattva Swarupa Anubhavat Utpannam Jnanam Anjasa Aham Mama Iti Cha Ajnanam Badate Digbramadivat. So, Tattva Swarupa Anubhavat. When the self-realization happens, then what is destroyed immediately? First thing happens is that Jnana Manjasa, instantly the self-knowledge arises, Jnana Manjasa, instantly. And with the knowledge of the self, with the awareness of the self, with Atmabodha, then what is destroyed is Aham Mama Iti, Ajnanam Badate. So, this Aham, I-ness and mindness, I and mine. So, this is produced from arising out of ignorance, is Badate, destroyed immediately. Now, here also, the problem is, if you look at our lives, it is all about Aham and Mama, I and mine. This I and mine is causing all the problem for us. I-ness and mineness. Ego is the trouble, and with that comes this mindness. Something is mine, something is not mine. And there begins all our trouble. And this is a product of ignorance, because in non-dual reality, there is no Aham and there is no Mama also. There is no I-ness, there is no mindness also. Bhadatyat is destroyed. Now here, the example he gives is the Dig Brahmadivat. Dig Brahmadivat means what? Now generally, in the world of phenomena, when we get knowledge of something, knowledge of one thing doesn't destroy the knowledge of the other thing. So if we have knowledge of, say, computer, it will not destroy ignorance about cell phone, something like that. But here, how come with the knowledge of the self, then Aham Mama Iti, product of Ajnanam, is destroyed? It is like that with one knowledge, how other things are destroyed. So the example given is Dig Brahmadivat. When we are in a totally new place and we have no sense of direction, which direction is the east or west or north or south, we ask a passerby where the sun rises, which direction the sun rises. So from that we know now it is east. We don't have to ask him separately for west, north, south, or the other three directions. The moment we know where the sun rises, then immediately we can find out the other three directions. So with knowledge of one, all the other three directions are also known. Similarly, with this knowledge of one, that is enough to get rid of all the ignorance related to that, not just the self, ignorance of the self, all the product of the ignorance also, like Aham and Mama, I-ness and mindness, I and mine, that is also destroyed. This is what we had seen in our last session. Now, today we'll take up a new shloka for discussion. Now here, Adi Shankaracharya is now explaining about Jivan Mukta Purusha, or the one who has realized the self. He is talking about him. In the 47th shloka, he says, Samyak Vijnanavan Yogi Swatmani Eva Akhilam Jagat Ekam Cha Sarvam Atmanam Ikshate Jnana Chakshusa. So, Samyak Vijnanavan Yogi, the one who has realized the self. So, that supreme knowledge, he has attained that supreme knowledge, supreme wisdom he has attained. Now such a one, Vijnanavan Yogi, so yogi who has been one with the self now. Swatmani eva akhilam jagat. He sees the entire existence in his own self. There is nothing other than that self. Ekam cha sarvam atmanam. And he sees there is only one self. Entire existence exists in that one self alone. Ekam cha sarvam atmanam. Ikshate jnana chakshusa. Now here, Adi Shankaracharya is giving a clarification. Otherwise, we are likely to say that how can we say that ikshate, how can we say that ekam cha sarvam atmanam? Of course, with the charma chakshu, when we see, we'll see this multiplicity of names and forms around us. But here, therefore, he makes a clarification. Ikshate jnana chakshusa, through eye of wisdom. Jnana chakshu is eye of wisdom. When we see through the eye of wisdom, then we see only oneness everywhere and nothing else. So, in the realization of the self, this oneness is attained, non-dual reality is attained. Now, we'll take a couple of examples that will clarify this. One example very often repeated one is, as long as a wave thinks itself to be the wave, of course, then as far as that single wave is concerned, there are millions and millions of waves arising in the ocean at all moments. And then each wave is in competition with each other, different sizes, different speed, different height, and so on. And of course, this small wave is in fear of other waves also, as well as it is in awe of the ocean also. So, two things are happening. One is the fear with the competition with other waves, the fear of other waves, and also in awe of the entire ocean, the vast ocean. So, this happens. Ekam cha sarvam atmanam, swatmani eva akhilam jagat. Now, when the wave realizes itself to be the water, swatmani eva akhilam jagat. Now, the entire millions and millions of wave is within me alone. Now, the wave no more considers itself the wave. It has realized that it is not a wave, not the ocean, it is the water. And without water, there is no existence for wave or the ocean. So, swatmani eva akhilam jagat, where the entire wave and the ocean exists, that is water. Ekam cha sarvam atmanam, ikshate jnana chakshusa. So, when an ignorant person looks at it, he will say that, okay, in the ocean there are so many waves. But Jnana Chakshu says that waves are nothing but water alone. Similarly, in the modern times, we have got a lot of electrical gadgets. And all these different electrical gadgets have got different names, different size, shape, function, everything is different. And even though they are all different, they are run on the same electricity. If we have 50 electrical gadgets in our house, we don't have 50 sources of electricity entering the house. We have only one source of electricity coming inside the house. And that one source of electricity is powering all the electrical gadgets. So electricity is the reality, electrical gadgets are not. Electricity is what expresses itself through the variety of electrical gadgets with different functions. Something is there to heat up, something is there to cool down, and so on. So, but electricity is all pervading. Electricity is there, therefore the gadgets exist. Electricity doesn't exist because of the gadgets. Electricity can continue to exist in the absence of gadget, but gadgets cannot exist or nor function in the absence of electricity. So electricity is the reality here. So ikshate jnana chakshusa. Similarly, with the realization, this Vijnanavan yogi, he sees himself everywhere, the entire existence as an extension of his own existence. Now, the thing is that if there are 7 or 8 billion people on this planet, that doesn't mean that there are 7 or 8 billion Atmas. Atma is only one, and there are 7 or 8 billion reflections. there can be no limit to reflection. If in a hall we put 1,000 mirrors and one person enters, then there will be 1,000 reflections, and 1,000 on 1,000, many reflections will be there. Reflection inside the reflection and so on. So just one person and it is reflected in so many mirrors. Multiple reflections are also there. So it is just one Atma, one self. And then the reflections are many. One Atma, there are billions of Jivatma. Jivatma is nothing but reflection of the same Atma in different equipment, different intellect equipment where it can reflect. So it is the same thing. So one Atma. Now this Vijnanavan Yogi, because he sees the entire existence as an extension of his own self, therefore he has pure unconditional love for everyone, without exception. He doesn't make any kind of any distinction. So he has pure unconditional love for everyone. That is the glory of this Atmananda, this Atmabodha. Having said that, now further clarification on this same thing. Now, initially when it is said that it is one self alone and nothing else exists, it is, from our level of understanding, it is difficult to accept. How can there be only one and nothing else? So, in the 48th shloka, again Adi Shankaracharya clarifies, Atma eva idam jagat sarvam, Atmanonyat na vidyate, mrudah yadvad ghatadini swatmanam sarvam ikshate. So now again Adi Shankaracharya says, Atma eva idam jagat sarvam. This entire creation, this entire jagat, the samsara, is nothing but Atma alone. Atma eva idam jagat sarvam. Atma alone and nothing else. Atmanonyat na vidyate. Other than Atma, apart from Atma, nothing else is there. And then he gives the example, Mrudah yadvat ghatadini. So the example is the mud and the pot. With the help of mud, the potter produces different types of pots, different sizes and shapes, and for different purposes. So these pots are there, but all of them are made out of mud. Mud is a reality. The different names that we give to the pot, one may be a cooking pot, another may be a flower vase or something like that, or a for the plant, a pot for the plant, and so on. But there may be different size, different shape, different function, and different names we are giving. But ultimately, they are all mud. Mud is the reality. And if that mud is removed from all these pots, those pots will cease to exist. Only mud will continue to exist. So the reality is mud. So when a potter looks at the pot, he sees only mud there. Though for the customer, he has come with a purpose to buy a particular type of pot, particular shape or size for a particular purpose. Similarly, when a goldsmith is looking at the ornaments, his vision is only on gold. How much is the gold in that and what is the purity of that gold? That is all he is concerned with. And the weight. He is not concerned, he is not carried away by the fancy designs and names of those ornaments. He is bothered about that. He is more concerned with the quality of gold, the purity of gold, and the weight of that. That is all he is more interested in, because that is the real thing. Remove gold from all the different ornaments, that ornaments will cease to exist. Gold is a reality. So, apart from mud, the pots have no existence. Apart from gold, the ornaments have no existence. Similarly, apart from Atma, the Jagat has no existence. Atma is Sat Swarupa. You see, Atma is Sat Swarupa. Sat means existence. Anything other than existence is non-existent. So anything other than, apart from Atma, other than Atma is Anatma. Other than Sat is Asat. Other than existence is non-existence. So that which is not existent, so it is non-existent. So there is no existence for that. And therefore, nothing can exist other than Atma. No pots can exist other than mud. No ornaments can exist other than gold. No waves can exist other than water, apart from water. So it is all water or gold or mud, or it is Atma, the self alone. The question may arise, how come from one Atma, one self? Because this Jagat that we see around us, it consists of both sentient and insentient, living and non-living. So, Jada Chetana. So, how is it that they two different types of Jada and Chetana, living and non-living, sentient and insentient creations are there out of one self? So, this doubt may come. Now, you look at it, look at the earth. Earth is actually insentient, non-living mud. From the mud comes the living plant. So from the Jada comes the Chetan plant. Living plant comes out of the mud. Similarly now, the living body is there, human body is there. And from that living body comes the Jada hair and the Jada nail. And therefore when hair and nail is cut off, we don't feel anything because they are Jada. But if the finger is cut off, of course, you feel the pain. But when the hair or the nail is cut off, you don't feel any pain. So from the living, the non-living comes, and from non-living, living comes. If from non-living, living can come, and if from living, non-living can come, the Atma is the substratum of everything. From that, both living and non-living can come. That can be expressed from that. Atma eva idam sarvam, idam jagat sarvam, atmanyonyat na vidyate. Now, another way of looking at it, you will see this entire world of existence, both living and non-living, sentient or insentient, they consist of matter. Now, let us go into the analysis of this matter. And this matter, if you go on dividing into the smallest particle, we reach the molecule, and then we go into the atom, we reach the atom. Now further, beyond the atom, we find there are subatomic particles like electrons and protons and neutrons, like that. So now these we see, this is what the science tells us. Now suppose we have a particular device. If such a device is existing, if such a device can be invented, through which we can see this atom, these neutrons, protons and electrons. If we can see that. If we wear that device and sit, what will we see around us? Will we see that plants, trees, animals, human beings, buildings and things around? No. We will see only electrons, protons and neutrons in different permutation and combination in motion. That's all we'll see, nothing else. Neither living, non-living, neither plant will not know what is what and everything, only electrons, protons and neutrons in different permutation and combination in motion. If we have a device, if we can produce a device which can see this, electrons, protons and neutrons and nothing else. Even human being, if we see, we'll see only that electrons, protons and neutrons and in different permutation and combination, intense movement, intense density of that, that's all and nothing else. Similarly, so this is what happens. Now, beyond the subatomic particles, there are other particles also, and beyond even that, only energy exists. So, matter unmanifest becomes energy, energy manifest becomes matter. So, at the subtlest level, energy, beyond the subatomic particles, it is only energy. There is only homogeneous mass of energy. Now, if you look at it, this homogeneous mass of energy, this is what Lord Buddha also experienced, nothing. And if we have a device through which we can see this energy, we wear the device and sit and look around the world. What will we see? Will we see the trees, mountains, animals, human beings, buildings, vehicles and things like that? Nothing. We'll only see homogeneous mass of energy in motion and nothing else. So where have all the names and forms disappeared suddenly? As we make our vision subtler and subtler, as we continue to make our vision subtler and subtler, then our vision starts changing. Now we are seeing only homogeneous mass of energy in motion. This is exactly what Lord Buddha saw. In his deep state of meditation, he saw his own body as nothing but energy in motion. So that is the last stage of matter, which is converted into energy now. So matter, it is becoming unmanifest into energy. And then both matter and energy, we have already discussed that both are insentient. And there has to be a conscious knower. And consciousness has to be subtler than matter and energy. And if the consciousness is subtler than matter and energy, then it should be all pervasive. And if subatomic particles support the entire material world, and beyond that, the energy supports the entire material world, then consciousness should be the substrate of the entire existence, including the material world. So, Atma eva idam jagat sarvam. Atmanonyat na vidyate. There is only the self alone everywhere and nothing else. Other than self, nothing exists. So that is all that is there. Atma is only there and nothing else is there. Atma eva idam jagat sarvam. Atmanonyat na vidyate. And then the example which he has given, either you take mud and pot, or gold and the ornaments, or the water and waves, and so on. It is all one. Swatmanam sarvam ikshate. So it is within one own self, everything is there. So it is when we see through Jnana Chakshu. Now remember this is seen through Jnana Chakshu, not Charma Chakshu. These golak, these eyes are Charma Chakshu. Charma Chakshu has got a limited vision. Like all sense organs that we have, 5 sense organs, it has got limited vision. So it has got a limited vision alone. So Swatmanam sarvam ikshate. Everywhere this Vijnanavan yogi sees his own self everywhere. When he sees his own self everywhere, therefore he will have natural, pure, unconditional love for everyone. Because the entire existence is nothing but an extension of his own existence. And therefore, great masters, great realized masters, they don't make any distinction whatsoever with any on the basis of caste, creed, race, nationality, religion, or anything like that. Whether he's a sinner or a saint, he will not make any difference because any distinction, because he sees his own self and he cannot see anything other than his own self. So, therefore, they have pure unconditional love for the entire existence, for everyone. Having said that, then in the 49th shloka, Adi Shankaracharya says, Jivan muktaha tu tad vijnanam tad vidman purva upadi gunans tyajet Satchidananda rupatvat bhavet brahmara kitavat. So now he is talking about this Jivan Muktaha. Now this word Jivan Muktaha, this is very important. Jivan Mukta means liberated very much while on this planet Earth. Still expressing to this form called the body, mind, intellect, equipment, liberated very much. This is the beauty of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma doesn't promise any posthumous attainment. No. Whatever has to be achieved, it has to be achieved here on this planet Earth itself very much while living. After we drop the body, what happens, nobody knows. But what we achieve very much while living here, that is the most important thing, Jivan Muktaha. In no other philosophy, they talk about something that is here and now, not a posthumous achievement. Who cares about the posthumous achievement, which is again temporary? As for Sanatan Dharma, at least even the so-called posthumous achievement is only temporary. So the real achievement is here and now, very much while living on this planet Earth. That is the most important thing. So therefore, here Jivan Muktaha to Tad Vidwan. So this Vidwan is Jivan Mukta now. Now, having become Jivan Mukta, what has happened now? Purva Upadhi Gunans Tyajet. Purva Upadhi Gunans Tyajet. Now, once one becomes Jivan Mukta, then of course, Purva Upadhi Gunans Tyajet. Upadhi is what? The Stool, Sukshma and Karan Sharir, they are the Upadhis. or the Panchakoshas, they are the Upadis. The gross body, the subtle body, the causal body, or the Panchakoshas, the food sheath, the prana sheath, the mind sheath, the intellectual sheath, and then Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss sheath. So these are the 5 koshas of this sheath. So these are the Upadis. So Purva Upadi Gunas Tyajet. Now he is, apart from that, he has given up all that. Whatever the gunas, he is no more identified with that. Given up means doesn't mean that he has gone and committed suicide. No, they are very much there, of course. But the thing is that it no more affects him, because that ego is not there to identify with that upadis and cause him trouble. That upadi has come with its own destiny. That upadi has been programmed for a particular thing. The body, mind, intellect, equipment is programmed, reprogrammed, and it will go according to the programming. But now this Mahatma Ji who has realized the self, he is not affected by this programming of this body, mind, intellect, equipment. He is bothered about it. So he has given up on that. Purva Upadi Gunans Tyajet. Satchidananda Rupatvat. Now he is the realized self. He is the self which is of the nature of pure existence and pure knowledge, thought-free, objectless awareness, and Ananda. It is infinite bliss. And now he is no more identified with that, because the ego is dissolved. A Jivan Mukta's ego is like a burnt rope. It appears, for all intents and purposes, it appears as if it is there. But it cannot bind him, nor it cannot tie anyone else. So, Satchidananda Rupatvat. Then, Bhaved Brahmara Kitavat. Bhaved Brahmara Kitavat. Now here, Adi Shankaracharya is giving an example. This is a very common example quoted in the Upanishads. Brahmara Kitavat. This Brahmara, the wasp, it builds a nest with a small hole in that, and he puts a worm in that nest, and that worm has got no escape from that. Just a small hole is in front of it. This wasp sits there and keeps stinging this particular worm. And now this worm inside that nest is in eternal fear of this wasp, because it has got no other outlet. Whenever it looks out of that hole, it can see this fearful face of that wasp. So day and night, it is seeing this fearful face of the wasp. Now it is a process of metamorphosis. It has to go through that process from the worm. It will eventually continuously thinking about this wasp, looking at it. Then one fine day, this worm becomes metamorphosis into wasp. Okay. So this is what happens. This is called as the Brahmara Kitavat Nyaya. Brahmara Kita Nyaya. So here, similarly, when we are continuously contemplating and reflecting on the higher reality, on the absolute self, then that is what we become. Brahmara Kitavat Nyaya. A couple of examples comes. The Lord says that you should remember me. Any which way it will do, it doesn't matter. Whether you remember me in fear or in hatred or whatever it is, but as long as you remember me, you'll attain me. Kansa used to think about Lord in fear, and he also attained Krishna. Similarly, Shishupal used to think about Lord with hatred, and he also attained Krishna. So, any which way you think, because constantly thinking about that, though that is not a very good way of attaining the Lord. The thing is that there are better ways to do that, but even in that way, we may think it is a negative way, but that too also helps. So Kansa also got that same Krishna attainment, and Shishupal also got, he also attained to Krishna. So Brahmara Kitavat Nyaya, this is called as, this is a process of metamorphosis. So Brahmavid Brahmaeva Bhavati. So the knower of self, knower of Brahman or knower of self becomes that Brahman alone. Knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. This is what our Upanishad says. Now, having said that, we move on to the next shloka, shloka 50th. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadi rakshasan yogi shanti samayuktah atmaramo virajate. Tirtva moha arnavam hatva ragadvesha adi rakshasan yogi shanti samayuktah atmaramah virajate. Now tirtva, tirtva means having swum. What did he swim? What did he swim now? Moha arnavam. Arnavam is the ocean and moha is the delusion. So ocean of delusion, that is what he has crossed. Tirtva, he has crossed the ocean of delusion. Hatva, having killed what? Raga dveshadi rakshasan. So he has already slayed or killed or destroyed raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, attachment and aversions, etc. All these kind of doshas are there. They are the rakshasas, they are the main demons. So he has destroyed that, he has killed them. Hatva. Yogi shanti samayuktah. Yogi shanti samayuktah. Atma Ramah virajati. Then he is fully established and rests in his own self. Now, Hatva Raga Dveshadi Rakshasa. Over millions of lives, we have collected a lot of sanskaras. Raga, Dvesha, etc. A lot of sanskaras we have collected over millions of lives. And because of these sanskaras that we have collected, they keep on troubling us from time to time. They keep manifesting to our surface, so on the conscious mind, and they trouble us. So all the desires that come because of the vasanas and the sanskaras that we have accumulated over millions of lives. We also discussed how we can get rid of this vasanas through different techniques. That also we have discussed. So these we have to get, and these were due to our own ignorance. Ignorance of the self, that is what created this raga, dvesha, etc. If you know the self, then there is no question of any raga, dvesha. Why is there a raga, dvesha? Why is there likes and dislikes? Why is there an attachment and aversion? Anything that seems to give us some kind of benefit, some kind of pleasure, joy, or happiness, of course we'll be attached to that, we'll like that. Anything that seems to give us some kind of pains, sorrow, or misery, of course we don't want it. So there will be a dislike for that or aversion for that. So throughout life, we'll see that we have divided this entire world into three categories. Things that we like, raga, that which we like, or that which we have attachment for. Then things that we don't like or we have aversion for. That is the second category. And a third category, things which we are neutral to. We neither like nor dislike, because it neither gives us any benefit or pleasure or joy, nor it gives us any sorrow or suffering or misery or any pain or anything like that. So we are neutral to that. So these are the different kinds of things we have divided. So three categories we have divided the entire existence into. In three categories. And then we suffer because of this categorization. So something which we like comes in our life, we are happy. Something which we dislike comes in our life, then we are miserable. So raga, dvesha, the rakshasa. So raga, dvesha is just two, and there are so many other things that comes in that. Everything they are called as rakshasa. Now yogi shanti samayukta. Now he is united. Samayukta, united, this yogi is united with shanti. This shanti is not ordinary shanti, it is prashanti, which is not in opposition to shanti or ashanti. Beyond shanti or ashanti, prashanti. So yogi shanti samayukta, atma ramah virajate. Now he relaxes, he is set, he in this atma rama. Now virajate, he shines, he illumines himself in that atma rama. Now here Ramaha, this we can say an analogy that Shankaracharya has given us. Rama is what? Sarve Ramanti iti Ramaha. That is Rama. So one who reveals in everyone, who reveals everywhere in everyone who reveals, that is called as Rama. And what is Sita? Sita is basically peace of mind. Now, this peace of mind, when this mind gets disturbed by Raga Dveshadi Rakshasan, so this is called as Ravana, this 10-headed Ravana. 10-headed Ravana is basically these 10 organs, 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action. So these are the 10 organs. So Raga Dveshadi Rakshasan, 10 organs. So this is what troubles us. So now that peace of mind, when it falls prey to this Ravan, these organs of actions and organs of perception, because of Vasana, or the desires arises from that, and then these organs of perception and organs of action puts into action karmas, and then this jiva suffers. So that peace of mind is lost. So Rama and Sita, peace of mind, falls prey to this Rakshasan, Raga Dveshadi Rakshasan, Ravana. And now, Tirtva Moha Arnavam. So now this jiva, like Rama, has to cross the ocean of delusion. Then, in the demon, the Raga Dveshadi Rakshasan has to be destroyed. And then only we attain that Shanti which was there earlier, and then we lost it because of our ignorance. Now we attain it back. So Yuti Shanti Samayukta. So this is how we have to, all this Pauranic Katha or this Ramayana, Mahabharata, there are so many Kathas are there. This we have to also relate it with the philosophical aspect of it. This Katha is there, but it explains something deeper, subtler. That is the important thing. So here, having crossed the ocean of delusion, having killed the Raga Dveshadi Rakshasan, then the yogi attains that Shanti and shines, illumines itself, and then he is the Atma Rama. Rama, that which reveals everywhere in everyone. That is Atma, Atma Rama. Now, having said that, in the 51st shloka, continuing this line of thought, Adi Shankaracharya says, Bahya Nitya Sukha Asaktim, Hitva Atma Sukha Nivruttah, Ghatastha Deepavat Swastha, Swantah Eva Prakashate. So, Bahya Anitya Sukha Asaktim, Hitva. So now, here, after having given up Bahya Anitya Sukha Asaktim. So this, after having given up the attachment to the illusory, Bahya Anitya. Anitya means which is not eternal, which is ephemeral, temporary, impermanent. So having given up this temporary, ephemeral, impermanent Sukha, attachment to that Sukha, Sukha Asakti, having Atma Sukha Nivrittihi. Now he is satisfied with the bliss that is of his own self that comes from within. He has realized that. Then having done that, Ghatastha, established in that Ghata, Ghatastha, like a deepa, like a lamp is kept in the room. And when the lamp is kept in the room, lamp is illuminating all the things inside the room, all the objects inside the room. Then that lamp is taken and introduced inside the pot. Now inside the pot, now the lamp doesn't illumine the objects of the room, but it illumines the interior of that pot alone. It is not illuminating the objects of the room. So Ghatastha Deepavat Swasthaha. So having established that, Swantaha Eva Prakashate, as the lamp introduced in the pot illumines the pot itself, so also having withdrawn from the Anitya Sukha, the temporary, ephemeral, impermanent Sukha or the joy, pleasure or happiness of this world, having withdrawn from that, Asakti, given up the attachment to that, having realized that there is actually no Sukha there, it was only my imagination, It was only my delusion or illusion that I thought there is some kind of sukha in the external world. Now that I have withdrawn from that, now I am satisfied within, because Atma Sukha Nivruttaha, satisfied with the bliss of the self alone. Swanta eva prakashate, as the lamp introduced in the pot illumines the pot alone. Similarly, now this self, the Jivan Mukta Purusha, is illumining nothing else. Because now when the ego has been dissolved, having realized the self, the ego is dissolved. When ego is dissolved, what happens? Two things happen. First thing is that we no more identify with our body, mind, and intellect equipment. Number one. Number two is that there is no karta and bhokta bhava. There is no doership or experiencership notion anymore in that. And therefore, when it is not identified with that, now there is the doership or experiencership notion. So it is as if the entire world of existence, with all the numerous objects, all the fancy objects, it is as if they don't no more exist for us. So swanta eva prakashate. So it is illuminating the self alone. Now this yogi, this jnanavan, this Jivan Mukta, he is not interested in the external world. There may be so many different people will be attracted to different kind of attractions in the world, but he is least bothered about it because he has discovered something which is infinite. And leaving the infinite, nobody goes after these ephemeral things, the temporary things, momentary things. Nobody goes after that. Like once Sethji used to visit a Mahatmaji. One day, when Sethji came to visit Mahatmaji, this Mahatmaji got up from his seat and prostrated to that Sethji. And then this Sethji got surprised why this Mahatmaji is prostrating to me. So Mahatmaji explained to him that I am prostrating to you because you are a Param Vairagi. So this Sethji was surprised, how can I be Param Vairagi? Maharaj, you are the Param Vairagi. So Sethji explained to him, no, I am not Param Vairagi. Because what I have done is that I have given up all these finite, ephemeral, temporary, impermanent things of this world, and I am after that infinite. But what you have given up, so I have given only finite things for the infinite, and you have given the infinite. Your sacrifice is bigger, you see, and you are after this finite. So you are more, a bigger Vairagi than me because I am after the infinite, and you have sacrificed, given up the infinite, and you are after the finite. So you are a better Vairagi than me. So the thing is that there is no attraction for the external world once we have that glimpse of that bliss. Ramana Maharishi used to say that he used to tell his disciples, all of you are sitting here with me because you people have not realized. If you get the smallest glimpse of that infinite bliss, none of you will stay here. So one who has realized that, why would he be bothered about the external world? Ghatastha deepavat swastha. Swanta eva prakashate. Swanta eva. So this term inward, swanta eva, inward. So inward has got two meaning here. One is, we can take it as subtle, something which is subtle. The other thing is pervasiveness. So this swanta. So that which is subtle, which is more internal, the subtle. So gross body is the physical. And of course, in our understanding, from the ignorance point of view, subtler than gross body is the prana. So prana is subtler and inferior to that. Mind is subtler to the prana, inferior to that. Intellect is subtler to that, inferior to that. That is how we go looking at it. So this is inward, means one way is that looking at it is subtler, or the subtlety it says. At the same time, that which is subtle is more pervasive. This also we have seen many times. So the solid is less pervasive compared to the liquid. Liquid is less pervasive compared to the gas. And space is the most pervasive compared to solid, liquid and gas. That is how it supposed the entire creation with all the different planets and stars and everything like that. And of course, when it comes to the self, which is a consciousness, that is subtlest of all. So it is more pervasive and more subtle. So actually, Body is not, the Atma is not something small which is inside the body. So that means elephant's Atma should be huge and an ant's Atma should be small. No. It is actually Atma which is supporting the gross body and the intellect and the mind and the pranas and all those things. So, Swanta eva prakashate. Then there is only illumination of the self and nothing else. If you look at the sun doesn't know what darkness is. Once darkness complained to the Lord that the sun is after me to destroy me. So the Lord told the sun, why are you after that darkness? Darkness is complaining to me that you are after his life, you are out to destroy him. So the sun told the Lord, darkness complaining against me? Who is this darkness? I have never met him. Forget about destroying him. I have never even seen him. I have never even met him. So call him in front of me and let me ask, how come I am destroying him? So where the sun is, the darkness will not be there. The darkness will not appear. And as soon as the sun goes away, the darkness appears and again starts complaining. So it is like that. As regards the sun is concerned, there is no such thing as darkness. But as regards the sun is concerned, does the sun know it is of the nature of light? Because light is known in contrast to darkness. We call something dark and we call something light. If there is no comparison to compare with the light, some darkness is not there, then everything is light alone, then we can't call it light also. So light is known as light because of there is something called as darkness. If darkness is not there, even light for that also will not call light. Similarly, when there is nothing else other than the self, it is non-dual reality, there is no notion of I also. The notion of I arises if there is something other than I. Otherwise, this notion of I also is not there. I alone exists, the self alone exists, and there is no notion of I. Aham bhava is not there. So, having said that, then we move on to the next shloka, shlok 52. Upadhi staha api tad dharmaihi aliptaha vyomavat munihi sarvavid vimudavat ishthet asaktah vayuvat charet. Now further talking about this Jivan Mukta Purusha. So now what he says is that Upadhi staha api tad dharmaihi aliptaha vyomavat munihi. Now a realized master, a Jivan Mukta Purusha, he will look like any ordinary person. Because a Jivan Mukta Purusha suddenly doesn't develop something, some halo around his head or some wing or something like that to distinguish him. Oh, there comes the Jivan Mukta Purusha. No. He'll be like the same person, like anyone else. A Jivan Mukta Purusha may be standing next to us, we may not know. So, he'll look like the same person and he will have all the upadhis, because Jivan Mukta doesn't mean that he has to go and commit suicide. Now that he doesn't need, because now he's not identified with the body. If the body is there or not, that doesn't make any difference to him. So, upadhi staha api tad dharmaihi aliptaha. What he says is that even if the upadhi is there, the upadhi, dharma of upadhi, he remains unattached, alipta, untouched by the dharma of those upadhis. Whether it is Sthula, Sukshma or Karan Sharira or these Panchakoshas, their dharmas, he remains alipta, untouched by their gunas, the dharma, their dharma, aliptaha. And the example he gives is that Vyomavat Munihi. Munihi means, this is Vyomavat Munihi. So now this Muni is Vyomavat. Vyomavat means like space. Now, space actually doesn't have any color. Though most of the time the space may appear, the sky may appear like blue or grey or some color like that, or setting sun or rising sun will give some other color to the sky, though they may appear at different colors, but space itself is untouched by these colors. It has got no color. It is untouched by that, though it may appear. Like a crystal ball. If a crystal ball is kept on a blue cloth, that crystal ball will appear like blue. If it is kept on a red cloth, it will appear like red. But it is untouched by that red color or blue color. Similarly, alipta, vyomavat alipta. This Jivan Mukta Purusha, even though he may be seen with the upadhis of the body, mind, intellect, equipment, the pancha koshas and all that thing, but with their dharma, he is untouched by their dharma. That dharma hi alipta, like the sky. And moreover, being egoless, now that ego has been dissolved, so now being egoless, what happens is that he is neither karta nor bhokta. So divinity lives through his form, body, mind, intellect, equipment. There is no karta bhokta bhava, and therefore there is no karma phala also. So there is no karma phala, and what happens is that these great masters, whatever karmas is destined to be done through their body, mind, intellect, equipment, those karmas will be done. Now, if the ego is not there, ego is not identified with their form, so to whom will the karma phala go? Because karma has been performed, and whether it is what was a positive karma or a negative karma by that Mahatma Ji, we do not know, but it will give fruits. Because that Mahatma Ji doesn't have ego, now his ego has been dissolved, so where will the results go? So the results will go to those devotees who do his seva, who take care of him and all those things. So to him, or those who have Shraddha, those who follow his teachings and practice in their life, to them the karma phala will go, and the positive karma phala. And in case some negative karma happens to him, and then where will that go? That will go to those who trouble him, harass him, or persecute him, and so on. To them the karma phalas will go. So this karta bhokta bhava is also not there. There is an incident that comes in the Puranas. Once the gopis wanted to cross the Yamuna, go to the other side to see Sri Krishna. So Yamuna was in spate. Durvas Rishi was sitting there. So they went and requested Durvas Rishi, please help us to cross the Yamuna. So Durvas Rishi just said that everybody comes to ask for help, but nobody feeds me. So gopis had some kind of food they were carrying with them. So they fed him, and Durvas Rishi finished whatever food they were carrying. Everything finished. Then he told gopis, go and tell Yamuna, if Durvas Rishi is on fast, please give us the way. Now these gopis were confused. How can he be on fast? He finished all the food that we had, he finished, and he's telling us to go and tell Yamuna that if Durvas Rishi is on fast, please give us the way. But they thought that better not to argue with him, because Durvas Rishi was famous for shopping. So better not to annoy him. So they went quietly, told his Yamuna Nadi requested, please give us the way if Durvas Rishi is on fast. And immediately the Yamuna parted, and these gopis could cross Yamuna on the other side. And then they spent some time with Lord Krishna and then asked Krishna, please help us to cross Yamuna. So Krishna said that go and tell Yamuna, if Krishna is Brahmachari, please give us the way. Now again these gopis were a bit confused, Krishna and Brahmachari, how? But then our Lord has told us we should not question that. So they went and requested Yamuna, please give us the way if Krishna is Brahmachari. And immediately Yamuna gave the way and they crossed over. So now what is this? This is the action that is done, because there is no ego, there is no karta bhava, there is no doership notion, there is no experiencership notion, and therefore they are alipta from the karma phala also. That is what it says. Then here sarvavit mudhavat tishthet. Sarvavit mudhavat tishthet. Now they remain like a fool sometimes. They move around like a fool. Many of the saints and masters in the olden times, they were considered as mad people, because their behavior will not conform to the average person, and therefore many of them were termed as mad. Later on, they realized that he is such a great master that they realized it later on. But as long as they were alive, many of the time, many people mistook them for some mad fellow. Like Gajanan Maharaj, a great master from Maharashtra, from Shegaon. He used to live, he was an Avadhuta, he used to live without any clothes, not in a kaupina, no loin cloth also. He used to live outside a village in the forest. Once in a while he'll come to the village, and that too will come after the meal time is over. And he'll not go to beg food from anyone. He will just go wherever the villagers, they put their leftover, because those days there was no fridge or anything like that. They prepare fresh and leftover is thrown up. So he'll go there, and the dogs are also eating. He's also sitting there and eating, and he'll feed the dog also. So obviously this behavior, it will be termed as mad only. Nobody wears nothing, not even a loin cloth, and sits in that garbage place and eating food from that. So this kind of behavior, say the Mudhavat, but he was a great master. Sarvavid Mudhavat tishthet asaktaha vayuvaccharet. And then there is no attachment to anything. There is no asakti, there is no attachment to anything. Vayuvaccharet. Vayuvaccharet, an example is given. How he moves around? He moves around like the wind. Now, wind carries good fragrance also. It carries the stink also. But wind is not attached to any particular type of smell. It will carry both. Because it is not attached to any particular type of smell, it will carry both. So it is Vayuvaccharet. It moves like a wind, unattached to any kind of smell, any kind of fragrance. Similarly, this Jivan Mukta Purusha, he will not be attached to anything, and he'll move freely. He has got no fear whatsoever about anything like that. Now, having said that, we move on to the next shloka, shloka 53. Upadhi vilayad Vishnu nirvishesham vishet munihi jale jalam vyad vomni tejah tejasi vayatha. Upadhi vilayad Vishnu. Vilayad means on the destruction of the upadhis or the conditioning. Now, destruction of the upadhis or the conditioning doesn't mean that the conditioning of the body, mind, intellect and things are there. So, destruction means that this Mahatmaji go and commit suicide? No. Upadhi vilayat means now that identity is not there. Identification with the body, mind, intellect, equipment is not there because the ego has been dissolved completely. So, therefore, upadhi vilayat. It doesn't mean that this Mahatmaji after realization has committed suicide. No. Upadhi vilayat Vishnu. So that is the all-pervading infinite Tattva, Vishnu. Nirvishesham Vishet. Nirvishesham Vishet means he is fully absorbed without any kind of distinction. Nirvishesham Vishet, without any kind of distinction, fully absorbed. This Munihi. Munihi is Mananam Shilavan. The one who is only completely established in his own self. Munihi. And that then Adi Shankaracharya gives the example here. So that is Jale Jalam Viyad Vomni. Jale Jalam. As the water mixes with the water, Viyad Vomni, space with the space, Tejaha Tejaha, and light with the light. So like that, as it mixes, it is seamless. It is not, actually there is no mixing there. It is just one only. So like that, you cannot divide the space like Mumbai space or Delhi space or something like that. It is just one. So as it may seamlessly, they become one. Jale Jalam Viyad Vomni Tejas Teja Vayatha. So he is one without any distinction, fully absorbed in his own self, yourself. Upadhi Vilayat. Having disidentified with all his upadhis, Panchakoshas or the three Shariras, Sthula, Sukshma and Karan Sharira, because the ego has been dissolved, so no more he is identified with that, so he is not bothered about the modifications of this or whatever is happening to that. So, having come to this, now the next one we'll take it in our next session. Now, if anyone has any questions on the topic we covered today, so they can ask.
Swamiji,
yes.
What is the role of bhakti in achieving self-realization?
There are only two parts to self-realization: bhakti and jnana. There is no third path. All other paths are assistant. They will assist in these two paths. So Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga are the only path through which we can realize the self. Then there is Karma Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and so many other yogas are there. They are all helpful in Bhakti and Jnana. So Bhakti also, Bhakti and Jnana, they begin in duality, in Dvaita. Bhakta is the devotee of his Ishta Devata, and of course the disciple is devotee of his Sadguru, whoever the Guru is. So they both of them begin their journey in duality, Dvaita. Now, as Bhakta's Bhakti reaches Parakashta, Parakashta, that is the supreme level of devotion, when his Bhakti reaches, the devotee and the object of devotion, they become one. And that is when there is a realization of non-dual self. This is exactly what happened to Tukaram Maharaj. Tukaram Maharaj is a Bhakta of Vithoba, Vitthal Bhagwan. Okay? So this Tukaram Maharaj, he used to do japa of that only, Vitthal, Vitthal, Vitthal. And as his Bhakti reached Parakashta level, the Bhakta and that of which he was Bhakta, both became one. Therefore, if you look at his Abhangas, latter Abhangas, they only talk of non-dual reality. How does a Bhakta talk of non-dual reality without having the knowledge? No. He realized the self. He realized the self. From Bhakti also Jnana is attained. And from Jnana also Bhakti is attained. So, both, they are the only two paths, either through Bhakti or to Jnana. For Bhakti, Shraddha and Prem is required. For Jnana, Viveka and Vairagya is required. They are the qualification required, minimum qualification. All the other paths will assist us. So, Bhakti and Jnana are the only path. That's it. Either we attain through Bhakti. If you do not want to go into the analysis, then we go through Bhakti for that, but Shraddha and Prema is required. For Bhakti also, a minimum qualification is there. Adhikari Pad is there. Who is an Adhikari for Bhakti? Who has got Shraddha and Prema? He is Adhikari for Bhakti. The one who doesn't have Shraddha or Prema is not Adhikari for Bhakti. In Kali Yuga, they say everybody is Adhikari for Bhakti. Everybody can do Bhakti, but without Shraddha and Prema, there can be no Bhakti. And similarly for Jnana, Viveka and Vairagya has to be there for Jnana. So, Bhakti will end in Jnana and Jnana will also end in Bhakti. Both will happen, and in both cases there will be pure unconditional love for the entire existence. Realization is same whether one follows the Bhakti Marga or the Yoga Jnana Marga. The realization is same.
Thank you very much. Very sweet. Very sweet. Swami, one more question. What is the role of Karan Sharir, you said?
Karan Sharir. Karan Sharir, there is no role. Because of Karan Sharir, only Sthula and Sukshma has come. We have to get rid of Karan Sharir. That is, getting rid of ignorance is getting rid of Karan Sharir. Because as long as Karan Sharir is there, then the subtle and the Sukshma and Sthula Sharir will keep manifesting. When a person drops the body without realizing the self, his gross body is dropped here. But Karan and Sukshma Sharir will go away, looking for another gross body. So when, very much while living, when we destroy the Karan Sharira, which is ignorance of the self, when that is destroyed, then there is no more birth and death cycle. That is that. We become Jivan Mukta, then Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam is no more there for us. So Karan Sharira is the ignorance, and that we have to destroy. Once that is destroyed, that's it. That is the end. This is the last. There is no more taking any form in any loka, anywhere in any form again. That's it. This is the end of it.
Thank you very much, Swami. Thank you very much.
Hari Om.
Anybody else? Jayant?
No questions.
Yeah. Karan?
No questions. I'm good. Thank you. No questions.
Swamiji, in your class, myself and Jayant were the frequent questioners. Then Swamiji, there is one in our study circle. The confusion was there. Okay, when a certain body leaves the present body and goes into the next body, these sanskaras, they go along with that in the new body.
Yes.
Now, but in the new body, the secular knowledge starts from the beginning, from whatever that I achieved by way of academic knowledge, that is lost there. So there is a confusion about this.
No, the spiritual knowledge is never lost. Whatever sadhana, if you have done sadhana, that sadhana is never lost. We begin from where we have left in this life. If we didn't complete our sadhana and didn't realize the self, then in the next life we begin from where we left here. We don't begin from zero there. Like for example, a child goes to school, he's in 5th or 6th class, and then he falls ill. For next 2 years, he couldn't go to school. Because he was under treatment for 2 years, he didn't go to school. Now when he resumes school, he doesn't start from KG again. Now in the 5th standard, when he was in 5th class, then he fell ill. Then in 2 years were wasted. He would have finished 7th also, now would have gone in the 8th one. But now that 2 years he wasted, he couldn't study. So he doesn't begin from nursery or KG again. He'll start from 6th, because till 5th he has already completed. So he has to just continue from 6th onward. So similarly, whatever sadhana we have done will continue in the next life also. It will come automatically to us without knowing. We don't have to worry about that. Whatever sadhana I have done now, it will be all wasted. And again I have to start from all over again, zero. So this is too much. I have already done so much tapasya. Now again I have to start all over again, right from nursery. What nonsense is that? So it is not so like that. Whatever sadhana we do, it is never lost. You see, it all comes back. So they are there, unknowingly we'll be doing, we'll be inclined towards that, we'll be attracted towards that, we'll be doing sadhana from our childhood also. Some kind of lakshanas or gunas will be seen in the child also. From the childhood itself, that will be seen. Some yoga or some jnana or bhakti, everything will be there. If he has done that sadhana, that will start manifesting some point in time. So we need not worry about that.
But how is that? That what we study in the school and colleges, it doesn't go with us?
See, what we study in school and colleges, that is the sansaric knowledge. That which we did as a sadhana, that is about our own self. So sansaric knowledge, usually, Prakriti is very kind to us. As soon as the body is dropped, it deletes the memory button. Sometimes, of course, Prakriti forgets to delete the memory button. So some children, they remember their past life. When they are 4 or 5 years old, they tell their parents, oh, I am from that so-and-so village. My wife is still there. My children and grandchildren are there. I want to go and meet them. This is freak of nature. That nature, Prakriti forgot to put the delete button on his memory. So he retained the memory from the past life. Otherwise, he's supposed to forget it. So that happens sometimes, and there are documented cases for that. So usually, but spiritual knowledge is about our own self. That we never forget. Basic knowledge, the knowledge of the outside world, we may forget, but we may have, in the subconscious mind, we may have inclinations for something. So we'll be attracted towards that. So somebody who was, say, engineer in the past life, maybe in this life, if he takes birth immediately after that, he may not have retained the memory or anything like that, but he will have inclination towards that kind of art also, or engineering or something like that. But that is there, but the memory is deleted out. So he start, but because of his interest and his inclination, he'll become. But as regards the spiritual thing is concerned, that is regarding the self. Self will always there, and these are all ephemeral things. So that will keep on changing. And depending upon, again, what karmas we have done. Our sanchit karmas, whatever is there, and out of which what karmas are being fructified. We do not know what karmas are being fructified and what we are supposed to experience in the next birth. So depending upon that, the form will be given to us. Suppose in one particular birth, one person was a doctor, and then he passed away. And now, according to the next birth, we do not know how long it will take for him to take form again. Now, what he'll become in the next birth, not necessarily he'll become a doctor, because it depends upon the karma that has been fructified and what experiences he has to go through. Whether it is the experience of sukha or dukkha, and in what environment, in what condition. So accordingly, his intellect will be also given accordingly only. His mind will be also according to that, his body will be also according to that, and he will be born in that particular environment only, so that he can go through those kind of experiences for which his karma phala has fructified now. So we do not know what he'll become. But as regards Adhyatmic sadhana is concerned, wherever he may be, whether he becomes again a doctor or not, or he becomes a potter, it doesn't matter. But that Adhyatmic knowledge will come in that life also, and he'll continue from wherever he left the past life.
But like you said that if we keep thinking every day, remind ourselves that I don't want to be born again, so that will fructify.
Yeah, so that is taking the sankalpa. Taking the sankalpa is, this is my last, I am not taking any form anymore in any loka ever again. And then there is a shloka, half a shloka Bhaja Govindam we have to chant. Ya sansare bahudustare krupaya pare pahi murare. So this is the sankalpa we have to take. Two things are very important to achieve anything. One is Shraddha and another is sankalpa. Dhrud sankalpa has to be there, dhrud Shraddha has to be there. There should be full Shraddha that it is my own self. Why shouldn't I realize it? That Shraddha has to be there, and sankalpa has to be strong. Whether there should be no doubt whatsoever, whether I will realize or not. No. There should be no doubt whatsoever. It is our own self. Why should I not realize it? So there should be no doubt whatsoever. Our sankalpa should be strong and Shraddha should be paripurna. There should be no two ways about it. So then only when the sankalpa is dhruda, Shraddha is paripurna, then we will be at the right time, at the right place, we will get the right instructions, and we'll move, we'll progress on the spiritual path, we'll evolve on the spiritual path. But at least we begin with the Dhrud Sankalpa and Dhrud Shraddha. That is in our hands. At least we start with what is in our hand, at least we can start with that. And the later things will fall in place. But if there is no Sankalpa, anyway, there are different types of Adhikaris also we have seen. Adhikaris are different types, and Jidnyasus are also different types. There are Manda. People want mukti. One is that one is not interested in mukti. If somebody gives, it is okay. Otherwise, he is not interested. Somebody will say that, okay, if I get it, fine, no problem. Another one will say that, okay, as soon as I retire, then I have to go on this moksha path. As soon as I retire. Then another one will say that I have to get moksha as soon as possible. Then the Ati Tivra is the one, I want moksha here and now. That is Ati Tivra. This Ati Tivra fellows only will manage to get it, attain it. That Ati Tivra, that should be there. That Jitnasa has to be there, Ati Tivra. So there are different types like this, you see. Therefore, one by one, depending upon our quality, our qualification, our sankalpa, at least we can do something very strong. Sankalpa we can make strong. Morning and evening, twice at least we can take. As soon as we wake up, when we go to bed, twice we can take. We can make the Shraddha also. That surrender should be there, Shraddha should be there, that you will achieve it. There should be no doubt whatsoever. I don't think so now. Now it is too long, too late for me. I'm already so many 80 years old, 85 years old, 90 years old. I don't think now I can realize the self in this life. No. Even a 100-year-old man on his deathbed, in the last moment also can realize the self, because it is the own self. Anyone can realize it. A 4-year-old child can realize it. 100-year-old man on the deathbed can realize it. So there should be no giving up. It is too late for me now. So what? Let me put it off for next life. So what will you do with the rest of this life? Continue. Make the same status quo, continue as you are doing in the past life. Continue like that. And waste our life, this one also, whatever time we may have. What is the use? Having suffered so much, whatever the life may be, wherever you are, wherever we may be, what sufferings we go through, something or the other is always there. Either physical or psychological or financial, something like that, or relationships, social problems, so many problems are there. One thing or the other is going on like that. Who wants to be in this particular world to suffer like this? And therefore, the moment we think about that, the sankalpa should be stronger and stronger. That is how it should be. So this sankalpa has to be there.
Swamiji, today morning I was having a talk with Padmini, and she was asking me that now only 15 shlokas are left, or maybe even less than with the completion of today's. Swamiji will come again or not after that. So I told her that we'll request Swamiji to come and take the scripture which he has not done at her place, you know. And I also suggested one or two, which is really I would like you to take up after we finish Atmabodh. The first one is Mandukya Upanishad.
And Mandukya.
Yeah,
I also agree. I also agree.
And Mandukya Upanishad, and then Dakshina Murti Stotra. I have done many years back. At that time, I didn't understand much about them. Mandukya Upanishad, of course, now I can understand. But Dakshinamurti Sutra, it went all over my head, you know. So since we have opportunity of lockdown, it is our request to you. And others can also suggest if they want Swamiji to take up any other scripture.
No, what I will do is that whatever we did in our class, we finished the Panchadashi. Okay. We did Tattvabodh, Atmabodh, Bhajagovindam, then Upadesar we did, then Vivek Chudamani, and then Panchadashi.
Yeah.
So these we did. So let us go systematically.
Yeah.
Let us not jump onto Mandukya Upanishad, because as you said that Dakshinamurti went over your head, Mandukya will also go over the head.
No, Swamiji, Mandukya, I have got a little bit, I understand that I have got a little bit grip over it. So if you can
Only
take...
you, what about the others?
No, sir, I think somebody said that, yes.
Yeah, that is Karan. I know who has said it.
So we leave it to you, Swamiji.
So we have to go systematically, not jump it. Yeah. So then it will be easier to understand, because all types of people are sitting. Yeah. So how many will be able to comprehend, how many will not be able to comprehend, we have to see that. So we have done Upanishads also in Bhivandi. We have done. I have not yet taken Mandukya here. We have done maybe 8 or 9 Upanishads we completed here in Bhivandi. Okay. But I have yet not taken Mandukya. I have to do Shvetashvatara Upanishad. 2 or 3 Upanishads only left. I will be taking Mandukya maybe this year or next year. I will take for them.
Swamiji,
so we have gone systematically.
Let this honor come to us about Mandukya Upanishad. Anyway, yeah.
Because the one you see, because this Mandukya Upanishad is very difficult to comprehend. And unless we have studied the other Upanishads, it is not advisable to study Mandukya Upanishad. And even other Upanishads also, before that also, there are so many people who have not done the Panchadashi. Panchadashi is a very important Prakarana Granthas. And how subtle Panchadashi is, we know. So those who have done Panchadashi, for them Mandukya will not be a problem. But those who have not done Panchadashi, for them what will happen?
Swamiji, if we cannot go to your stature, you can come down to our stature. Anyway,
see, if the PhD level syllabus is there, okay, how much we can come down from PhD level syllabus?
Okay,
so that is where it is.
Yeah.
We'll take that slowly, but we have to choose a text which will, now after Atmabodh, some understanding will be there. Then we'll go to another the text which is subtler than this, higher text we'll take slowly. So let us, all of us, we do not know everybody's status, what they are at level, because when I start explaining things and people will not be able to comprehend, and slowly attendance will start dropping, this Swamiji must be saying something, but it is
Now, Swamiji, today's bhajan, Padmini is going to sing today's bhajan.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, Padmini, you go ahead. Padmini, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Yeah, can she start, Swamiji?
Before that bhajan, I just want to tell, now Sunday is Guru Purnima day.
Yeah.
So I'll be publishing an article on the website, and all those who have subscribed, they will be getting that article. Everybody should read that article. Huh?
Okay.
The title of the article is "Everything and Every Being Teaches Us Every Moment. Are we alert enough to learn?" That is the title. So on Sunday you publish on Guru Purnima day. That is very important. So all of you should read that.
Yeah, okay, Swamiji.
Yes.
Okay, now bhajan can start.
Yep.
Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana, Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana, Chitta Chora Gopi Jivana, Chitta Chora Radha Jivana, Megha Shama Madhusudana, Megha Shama Madhusudana, Radha Kanta Yadunandana, Radha Kanta Yadunandana, Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana, Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana.
Yeah, thank you, Padmini. Swamiji, Shanti Pat.
So should we conclude now?
Yeah, Shanti Pat, Swamiji.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam
Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swami.
Sai Ram, everybody.
Hari Om to
Bye
everyone.
Ram. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.